Hi everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Andrew, and our team is gonna presenting about suprasegmental. First, let me introduce my members. First one is Rifki, Muhammad Faiz Erlangga, and then Permana Sakti, and Hafiz Hastu Sudanta. Next, we are going to talk about the definition of suprasegmental. So, in speech, suprasegmental is referred to a phonological property that is more than one sound segment, also called non-segment. In terms of suprasegmental, which was coined by American structuralists in the 1940s, is used to refer function that is over vowels and consonant. So to make it easier, to make it simple, suprasegmental is refer to sound contrast that extend over several segments. So we are going to presenting about sound contrast.
My name is Muhammad Faiz Erlangga with student number 123241096, and I'm going to explain about the stress. So basically, stress is a property of a syllable that makes a syllable more prominent. The syllable which is stressed is syllable that is more prominent, stronger, more audible, and more noticeable than the other syllable in a word. And there are three levels of stress, from the strongest to the weakest. The first one is primary stress, which is marked by raised vertical tick, and the secondary stress marked by lower tick and unstressed, which is a syllable that is not stressed.
Alright, my name is Fitz, and today I will be the one explaining to y'all anything regarding intonation. So, intonation is one of the most key elements in understanding about suprasegmentals here in linguistic, and it is, however, a key part of this whole discussion. Well, all of them are key parts, but like intonation is one of them, who is actually quite integral to understanding suprasegmentals. Right. So, intonation is basically a definition is a distinctive pitch pattern over units larger than a single word, and it only applied to non-lexical tone language. So, a language that we know today had been differentiate or probably been differentiate between two different languages. That is lexical tone language and a non-lexical language. A lexical tone language means that a different types of lexical tone that someone is said can contribute to somehow change the meaning of some words or some phrase, so that it is if they've been romanized, it is probably said the same thing, but with the slight different tone in there, it could change the whole lot of things or the whole meaning inside of them. But a non-lexical language is, well, the lexical tone doesn't add a significant an effect towards the overall thing. It doesn't. Well, yeah, it doesn't change anything. But yeah, if you look at English, Indonesian, or French, if a word is a word, whatever intonation you may call it, well, it only applied to change some of the effect, but like not the whole meaning, like the entirety of the word itself. So, the functions of intonation is, if you look at the book, you can see that there is two different functions in intonation. The first one is it conveys a linguistic information, that is the raising pitch and the falling pitch, and it can also functions as a way to convey feelings of an information. For example, if you're boredom, you might set something in a flat pitch, If you're impatient, you may say something in a higher pitch, or if you want to be polite or speak to someone who's actually older or wiser, or like someone who's generally respected among people, you might say things in a softer and a lower tone of intonation. Yeah. Here I have the spectrogram website. When you can try it out yourself and see whether the internet with whether the thing that you just said had a significant effect towards the spectrogram. You can check that out yourself. Right. The importance of intonation is that the first one, it's a language learning. It used to correct pronunciation. It can also use as speech therapy. It can cure some sort of speech disorders. It's also quite important for linguistic research. Studying accents and dialects, because, well, if we look at how Irish people talk and Scottish people talk, they may convey a different kind of intonation and different kind of speech behavior, even though they display some of the same traits. Like, for example, if they convey boredom, they both may felt boredom, but the way they convey their boredomness through language is conveys in the particular accents and dialectical and dialects, and quite interesting to be researched, to be honest. And lastly, it used as a technology that is to as a speech recognition. People talk differently, and that intonation itself can actually be one of the ways to secure your private wealth as a speech recognition. So, fun fact: why do accents actually exist in the first place? Well, all of us are Adam's child. All of us are human being. All of us are born by our mother. Both of us had mom and dad. But why do people have a different kind of accents? Well, accent just don't magically appear like that. No, accent exists because of geography, location, because of the social influences, and also the historical language evolution. So not only does people go somewhere, they also met other people, and their interaction spread or stretches quite a long time until it became quite a pattern to be studied as a historical language evolution. Well, you can we'll already learn about Helang Helit, of course, the history of English language, when we know that, the actual English language is actually Germanic language, come from the Anglo-Saxons, who moved out from Germanic tribe and goes north to Angleland, where they make Picts and Scots that they somehow had an agreement with, and the Picts and Scots actually chill about the Anglo-Saxons staying there. So, and the rest is history, I guess. And the next one, I will be passing to my pal Stephen. Good luck, buddy.
Hi, my name is Rifki Purnama, also known as Stephen, also known as the guy who always wears suits in campus. And today I'll be talking about the examples of stress and intonation. Now, the thing about stress is that it has multiple usage in everyday language. First of all, I would like to add that the first example is to change the meaning of the word. Think about this: record and record. Now, those are two separate things. This example: there's record, to take record of something, and there's record, on what I'm doing right now. Now, because we put the stress in different parts of the syllable, it changes into different meanings. Second of all, it also changes from words to become phrases. For example, time flies. if you put together those words, time flies, in the beginning, like time flies, it becomes like a sentence. Oh, time flies. Time really does go by really fast. Time flies. But if you put the stress in the second part of the word, time flies, it becomes more of a noun, as in like, oh, that is such a time fly. Like that is such an activity that you would do to like waste time, and it definitely really works because I chose this example. Now the last one about stress is that it also puts an emotional stress, as in putting the focus of a sentence in a specific word. For example, I want to go to the beach. It sounds pretty simple. Like if you put the stress in I, as in I want to go to the beach, it emphasizes that me, as in me, is the one that really wants to go to the beach. If you put, for example, I want to go to the beach, it emphasizes my need of going to the beach, my want. If I say like I want to go to the beach, I could say like the location is what is important in this context. The beach, the one and only beach. Now, for the second one, intonation. What are those? Intonation is basically the ups and down, the pitch on what you're using when you're trying to speak. For example, there's three types of intonation. There's rising intonation, there's falling intonation, and there's up and down, rising and falling intonation. And what are the differences? Let's start with the falling intonation. Now, what are those? It's basically used to indicate a statement or something that is already clear. For example, I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach. There's no question. There's literally sureness that there's no high pitch coming inside of the sentence. I want to go home. That's pretty simple. There is no obstruction. There is no pitch needed to exemplify that you are going home. Now let's look at the rising action. Now this one's particular because it's the one that you definitely use when you wanted to ask questions. For example, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? There's literally a difference in pitch on when you're asking. Now, in text, this would be unable to be translated. That's why we need to use the question mark, so that in order we know if it's a question or not. Now, lastly, there's rising and falling intonation. Now, this is kind of a mix because when you mix down and up, it usually shows something that is unsure, that is not yet decided, as in I suppose so, or maybe some other examples like maybe, but maybe, but maybe. See, there is an uncertainty put inside it because you mix a certain intonation that is down, and an uncertain intonation that is rising intonation. So it makes it kind of a mixed emotion when you are planning on something, but you are still unsure if it's going to happen or not.
Conclusion of this presentation is which is suprasegmentals or stress and intonation are not just arbitrary sound variations. Their primary purpose is to modify, clarify, or change the meaning communicated by the individual sounds, or we call it segments. Stress changes lexical meaning of the word. For example, record as a noun versus record as a verb, and highlights the crucial part of the message in a sentence. Intonation changes grammatical meaning, for example, statement versus question, and conveys the speaker's attitude or emotion, which is a layer of contextual meaning. Therefore, everything discussed in suprasegmentals contributes to the richer, fuller meaning of a word.
Alright, that's all our presentation about the suprasegmentals material. Thank you for watching.